Hey guys, welcome to Michelle's Opinions. Tonight I have a special guest. I know you guys have been waiting a little while, and thank you for your patience. But Glowing is with us tonight, and she's got a lot of amazing stuff to share with what's going on in her life, things that are going on, changes that are going on with her all the time. It's just such a beautiful testimony. I thought I would bring her on here to share her story with you guys. But for right now, I'll have her introduce herself to you guys, tell you a little bit about where she's located, a little about her background and stuff as, people start to file in since I had to set up a whole new event. I'm sorry, guys. Chloe?
Hi. Sorry, it's my technical problems on my side. I tried two different phones and now I'm on a computer, so I'm not sure how well the volume is. Can anybody hear me? Can they hear me?
Your sound is perfect.
Okay, good. So where were we at? I live in Florida right now. And let's see. I think it was around fall of 2016. Yeah, because it's all the presidential. Fall of 2016 was when I came into the ME. And I found it on a political site, which was kind of strange. I know we don't talk about politics, but it was kind of it was politics, but not politics, because it was people who were like, I'm tired of both systems and, it doesn't work out. And then someone says something like, oh, that's the Mandela Effect. And I'm like, what does that mean in politics? Like, I know everything. I've been in it forever. And I'm like, what is this new term? So when I looked it up and I saw the Berenstain Bears had changed, I was like, oh, whoa, this is crazy.
Right.
So
Yes.
it was kind of like it was leading me there. And prior to that, just before that, I was kind of like, I was just, this world sucked. I mean, quite honestly, I was like, I don't mind. I even said it. I was like, hey, God, you know what? We can go. I'll still sit on a cloud someplace. Because whatever is going on down here is ridiculous, right? And I'm sorry.
You're fine. You're fine. So you are in the United States,
right?
And and you're on the East Coast, and you got frustrated because you were seeing the divisiveness, and you saw through the lie there that they're both basically batting for the same team. So then you decided to seek, God or inward, or and get some answers. And what answers did you get there, Glowing?
Well, just before the ME happened as well, I had like that really crazy. It was an amazing dream. Well, it's more than a dream because it was real. In spiritual form, there was a massive amount of people who had agreed to partake in like a healing of the earth. And we were going from spot to spot, being led by with like a native medicine man or a chief or something like that. And we were going from one spot to the next, like to the beaches, to the ocean, to the rivers, to mountaintops, whatever. And we were all singing a song, and I would say probably Earth song. And it was incredibly beautiful. And like, I can remember like hearing the song. It was soothing. Lots of people, like, even though you're in like more spiritual form, I could feel like I was holding hands with people, and like I can still almost feel like my feet in the sand in the ocean, like it was just that strong and powerful. And when I was woken up by a phone call, and when I woke up, I was actually crying, and it was real. I mean, that dream world is just as real, and that was very, very powerful. And right after that, it was like, okay, I guess you're ready for that ME. Because I found it where I was hanging out at,
What was your first I guess it comes to us too. Which one was your first Mandela Effect? Which one like really captured your attention? That something here's a little different than what you thought?
Definitely the Berenstain Bears, because those were my books. I mean, when we would go shopping each week with my parents, and like a good week would be like, oh yeah, can we get another Berenstain Bear book? And I swear we probably have 2 or 3 copies of the same one. And that was, I mean, you have a conversation, is it Steen or is it Stein? It's not Stain. Nobody ever said Stain.
Right.
And those are my first reader books. I mean, like I said, those bears get a lot of people because it was just like, what? And of course,
do you remember what year that was? I'm not trying to interrupt you. It's just like I'm inquiring minds. What year? Do you remember what year that was that happened to you?
Well, it was fall 2016, sometime around like October. I found it because it's the same as most people. There's a lot of people that waved in around 2016. And then after that, we had Lupo, right? And we kind of got into Discord, and then we got Discordy, and I kind of feel like we're coming back together.
we kind of expanded, and now we're retracting, but we're still expanded. We're bringing back what we expanded out to learn. We're bringing that all back together to that table. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing. And I have to say, it was Dr. Lupo's show that we all met each other. I met Chloe about a year and a half ago, and we all kind of went in and out of each other's lives, but we're all kind of manifesting our way or making our way back to each other, and it's a beautiful thing. Okay, so we know that you were affected in 2000, you said 16, and then there's other things that came up just about that same time. Like the globe Earth, flat Earth, Mandela Effect. Yeah. And then I also noticed like a whole bunch of, like the JFK footage and stuff now is in color. I mean, there was a domino effect of things that just got piled out onto us all at the same time. Okay. Now you said you just like, were like, okay, I'm done with the politic thing. And then you were like seeking for God and seeking for answers. Where did you go from there?
I mean, we've pretty much, been speaking with one another, teaching one another, learning a lot of stuff. I've learned a lot from Marlena. So, I mean, she's amazing.
We'll get to that. I mean, from God. I'm sorry.
If anything, if anything, like she's just, along with teaching, she's given me
inspiration.
Well, she's given me a sense of like, you can do this. You are this. Everybody can do this. Don't discount yourself. And so believing in myself is a bigger part of it, because I don't like to be living in ego or to whatever. Like I'm something almighty special, but I guess we kind of all are. So
yes,
there's no reason to not believe that you can do the things that you put your mind and your heart to.
That's one thing that, and I have to say, the church will teach you that you're a dirty, rotten sinner. Okay. Nobody's good enough. And, what we're having to do is remove those filters and realize how unique, how divine, how special each and every one of us are. So, and it's really good when you have people around you that lift you up instead of keeping that boot on your neck. So, okay, you were seeking for God. You came across Dr. Lupo. You came into the community. You had help from people to kind of lift you up onto your feet. But you've gone beyond that yourself. And let's get into some of the really good stuff that I know everybody is really wanting to know about. Let's talk about the weather.
I'm pretty sure everybody's like heard these discussions, but not everybody out there that'll watch it. So, okay.
Like it's all brand new because you never know about new viewers.
It kind of started with me. I was outside. I was just looking at the clouds, and I seemed to be able to make the clouds stop. And I was like, "Is this possible?" Like, because they look like they're stopped. One day, I stuck like a cloud grouping next to the moon, and it followed the moon all the way through the sky. And that was kind of weird. And I was like, "Okay, well, I don't know if this happens or not, but I'm going to say it does because I'm going to believe it." And then I was trying to like just remove like one cloud. Oh, can I get rid of like one cloud? And that worked. It took a little bit of concentration because you're like trying to remove the object that's there. And then I got a suggestion from Miss Marlena, and she's like, you know what? She's like, it seems to be something you're just naturally good at being able to think about doing. And she's like, try doing a different technique of picturing what you want to see. And it's like, boom, it's so much easier. And so, like I actually showed you guys a picture of like pre-chemtrail after I said no, this blue sky, and it's no chemtrails. I mean, that was literally within an hour from one to the other. And like I said, it sounds really crazy to say I'm doing something, but you know what? I think there is power in it because, like, like Jesus said, you can move the mountains. You are as powerful as I am. So why aren't we trying to use these gifts that we're given? So
he said these things and more they will do in the latter days.
Exactly. So
when you
I
see him,
think
you will be like him. So yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of channels out there that'll say, oh, these chemtrails, they're awful. We're going to die. They're smogging us. I'm like, and they'll say, I don't consent. And I'm like, you know what? Consenting or saying I don't consent acknowledges them that they exist. Try thinking that they don't, and they will go away because, so I'm.
What about you told me the other day, instead of, just saying I don't consent, see your sky as a beautiful sky already. And so if you don't consent, you need to have an answer behind that. You can't just say no and ignore. You can't put your head in the sand. You got to see it, beautifully blue skies, puffy white clouds. And so you can't just say no and bury your head. You have to have something to replace it with. And you were talking to me about that the other day when we were chatting about what we were going to come on and share with everybody. Mm-hmm. I have to say, after hearing your testimony, I tried it. I tried what she said to do, and it happened. I called my mother. She said she had gray overcasty skies. I was going down to see my mother for Mother's Day, and I said, I have beautiful blue skies with puffy white clouds. I said, I'll bring them with me. We got down to her house, and beautiful blue skies with puffy white clouds. She looked up at the sky. She said, oh, well, it normally burns off by this time anyway. So Mom discounted it. But you know what? It happened. So I listened to what she said. I put it into practice myself. And guys, there's something to what she's saying. Okay, keep going.
And I was like, I haven't seen you before. And she's like, no, she was on Lupo. And I was like, well, I did cut my hair. So, I mean. I was reading the chat. Sorry.
Yeah,
I got distracted by chat.
And if you guys have question in chat, if she's able to see it, I'm not able to see both. My tablet is not wanting, and I don't want to pull too much from the system because if it'll drag our stream. Since I think a lot of the technical problems is YouTube has switched over to high definition, and since it switched over to high definition, it caused a little bit of technical problems. So it wasn't her fault. It was, a matter of the right device for the right setup.
Yeah, I mean, it was giving me a thing where it said to send the issue, whatever was going on, to their technical side to fix it. Okay. So, and it did it off of 2 phones. So I was like, well, maybe it's just something with mine, but I tried it with my son's, and both of them were having issues on the Apple app.
I have affected my electronics. I was having a conversation, and we were in Discord, and I was asking Mel about group meditation, and the whole garage, the whole breaker just blew. And then when the power came back up, the conversation I had with her was gone. Okay, it didn't even exist, but a conversation that I was having with somebody else on the side was all still intact. And then a very vague conversation about it was in general chat. It was so weird. But yeah, I've blown out my electronics before. It happens. It's something about our energy, our frequency. We get really super excited, and we, which is also telling us, we're more than what we think we are. And as we're raising up, we've kind of got a, boundary back so we don't tear up our electronics. So what else is going on with you? I know you brought up Marlena a few times, and it would really be nice to see her, back around in the community. But, everybody comes back when they're ready in their due time, so we'll be patient with that. But so what else have you got going on besides, you got the elements? I'm sure that there's other things that have you had dreams and visions? You shared your Mandela effect, and you can elaborate on the politic, what it was that, that from personal testimony that, was it that you were able to see through the BS in it, or did you?
Well, I've seen that a while. I mean, that was why I was on this, like, it was more of like a outside politics. Like, it was covering everything, but it was like, they're both bad. There's no good or bad. I mean, the idea of the lesser of two evils still means evil, right? So we don't really have a decision. We don't really have whatever. And so it was just kind of funny actually watching Hillary Clinton lose. I mean, if anything, I kind of smiled a little bit, even though I'm not like, oh, Donald Trump, but I did kind of get a tickle out of it because she thought it was hers. I mean, that stage was ridiculous. You kind of had to laugh a little about that. And then she couldn't even make a concession that night. I mean,
you're killing me right now. I'm trying to be quiet so you can talk. Just laughing over here, trying to.
Anyway, that was kind of a little bit fun.
Yeah, because she's still not taking it well. Yeah, she's not over it.
No, she's tried for this 2 times, right? 2 times, and nobody wants her. That should tell you something. And there you go.
And it's not the idea of a female president. We don't have a problem with
right.
being president.
And there lies the issue too. Here she conformed her entire life. She manipulated everything. She controlled everything. She decided which direction things were going because she thought it was a certain way. She took money from everybody. She started any war she thought was possible, whatever was going on, because she saw this as a certain way instead of being her authentic self and learning how to be her authentic self and letting that shine through. Had she been that person, an authentic person who wasn't so controlled and manipulating everything, she may have been in a different spot, but people could see through, especially women can see through your BS. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can tell that you're not.
If she would have apologized and owned up to her actions, we would have had a whole different position. I have more respect for somebody that says, I screwed up. And they just let it out. And, and a lot of times if you own your actions, you gain a lot more, and the people are going to say, you know what? Okay, I get that. You're human. We make mistakes. But when you try to just blanket lie over lie over lie over lie, we fall away from you. We're not going to follow that. We're past that kind of stuff now. And you are so onto something with being able to read people and read their energies and and we talk about, or I've talked about the right side and the left side of the brain. The right side is the creative feminine side. The left side is the logical male side. And it seems like the logical male side has been the dominant, where the female side has been lowered. But we're at a time where we're coming up into balance with each other. So we're creating, and through our senses, we are going through it and able to, with our sight and taste and hearing and touch, experience it. We create and we experience it, and we're becoming aware of that. And that's why I think it's so important for us to lay down all of the things, the filters that we have in our mind, thinking there's differences, because the more people that know and walk in this, your heart opens up. You won't, there is no lack, because there is no lack. We won't create lack. We won't create a hierarchy. We want everybody treated equally. We don't want people hungry or on the streets or homeless. We don't want any of that for anybody. So when you talk to the general population and we start to, know who and what we are, and we're rising up, I can see the world changing. What do you think on that, Chloe?
Gosh, it's weird, because when you start doing these things and you're going on your own little journeys, I mean, I barely watch the news anymore. I barely know what's going on. I mean, you hear little things filter through, obviously, but it's just like in another world. And so then you come onto some of these, I don't know. There is definitely an evil side to this world. I mean, you can see it, and it's really easy to spot it, right? But it's not really relevant into my life, probably because I don't have that perspective right now. Not to say that like my life is beautiful. Whatever, like I was saying, I seem to change the weather. I can't seem to change my own life, and so I actually had. I was laughing about it. I was like, well, shoot, I can make a beautiful sunny day. Why can't I fix this, that, and the other? So I was like, you know what? I'm going to ask why I can't do this. And so I laid down. I was meditating into like into sleep or whatever. And so I had this like, I don't even know what these images mean. I can't really figure it out. But I had like a black-winged angel shatter towards me, and then a light-colored one, and then this like burst of light, like glowing light, and the words like no fear, no fear, no fear, no fear, no fear, and then it just flipped to love, 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 love. And so I didn't get like, hey, you should be doing this job or you should be doing that. I just got like, I'm calm, I'm at peace. And you know what? If I have no fear, nothing's going to hurt me, nothing's whatever. And just do things in love and it'll all work itself out and you don't have to worry about it. So I guess that's my answer. I mean, I still kind of think about it, but you know, there is an answer.
You're moving doubt, seeing it already happen. Because what I found out is, I talk about buffering. Other people can buffer us, yes. But a lot of times we are our own worst enemy. We are the ones that are buffering ourselves the worst. We're our most harshest critic.
Oh, yeah.
We are so hard on her. And the doubt that we sow in is what we're doing to ourselves. So you seeing a dark angel and a light angel means, and they're coming in together means, to me, you're going to be the one that has the revelation on what the terminology is, in which would be exactly what you said. No fear. Don't fear that dark angel, and don't gravitate, don't polarize, and love. Just don't worry about it and just sit there and imagine. Allow your imagination to just go see things as finished and whole, and everything else will just fall into place. So what do you think on that? I mean, that's a pretty amazing manifestation that you had displayed for you to give you an answer. Wow.
Well, it's kind of funny because I was like, well, duh, I need to ask.
We all do.
And Marlena's like, yeah, that'd be the smart thing.
and we test all things. I mean, that's just our nature. I mean, don't be hard on yourself because of, you ask. The only question that's a dumb question is the one that's not asked, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. And I would say, like, all these things, like, when you are trying to manifest or something, you should really be as generic as possible. Like, if you think you know your path or you think you know the path, that's going to be, it's just, it'll throw you for a loop. So you be general and do it very much from your heart. Like, not so much of a thinking head thing, more of your heart space, or just your knowing space, whatever you want to call it, like a center self or something. It's not really like in that voice that speaks to you or second guesses yourself all the time or whatever.
That little doubter,
that needs to go away, and you need to like just, and then more feel it, I think. And that's what I was saying, like the other day, I was like, man, I didn't really want to drive around in the rain. I was like, well, maybe I should take away the rain or whatever. But I was like, it's not like, Florida doesn't need some rain every once in a while. But there's this guy at the gas station, and he was set on it's going to rain. I can't wait for it to rain. I'm so excited. I'm like, I'm not doing nothing with this today.
Yeah, he's happy.
I'm like, you have your rain.
Yeah, they do. So
because he was like that into it. And it was funny that I came across him because he's like, I was just stopping to get some gas and, to fill up the car. And it was like, oh man, I can't wait. Look at those clouds. It's going to rain. I'm so excited. I'm like, it's going to rain. So it did rain.
And the plants need it. They get
Well, that's the thing.
thirsty.
It's not like you go around messing with stuff all the time, but like on Mother's Day, I mean, it was supposed to rain all weekend long, and I was like, this is ridiculous. People, I know it's a Hallmark, made up, whatever. You should love your mother and honor her every single day. If my son was listening, he would see that instead of trying to be a brat. But yeah.
How old is your son?
Oh, he's 13 and
oh well, yeah,
finishing school. He wanted to sit here right on the other side of me while I talked. I'm like, I'm nervous enough now, and watching you smirk at me, that'll be a lot of fun. I was like, just go watch in the other room, So I'd like throw him forcefully out of the room.
Don't need to be nervous. It's just me and you talking. So
yeah,
in
but there's liveness to it too. So.
Yes, and it's a beautiful thing to find yourself and to start to remove the doubt, and remove the filters, and remove all that dogma. You really feel lighter. You walk a lighter walk. I often say to let go of the judgment. Use discernment. Use discernment, of course. Don't put yourself in harm's way, but stop judging things. And just with seeing a dark angel and a light angel. That would be representing, what I would see that as is, polarization, that something is terrible and something is good. Now, what we see, and I see it too, is the population seems to be dividing and that gap seems to be getting bigger and bigger. But I see it as more of as people are waking up, you go through this transition, this, you have to go through that darkness. And then when you pop out of that wilderness journey, so to speak, the light is that much brighter and you can appreciate things with more gratitude. And then, you manifest from there. What's your thoughts on that? Did you have any kind of a journey that you were going through? Any kind of transitions, or did you have any things that you would think some people call them ascension symptoms, shift symptoms? I mean, you admittedly were affected by the Mandela Effect, which is a symptom. Were there any other ones that that you could think of that that did you feel like tingling through your body? Do your hands tingle? Can you feel energy, with your hands, or can you feel your heart warming and bursting out? Or I gave you a whole list.
Oh yeah, that's a lot. I have to say I'm very grateful that I've never really been in the tinnitus category where you just have that ringing thing that's going on for days and drives you crazy. I've had a little bit of here, maybe there, headache or this, that, and the other, but it's kind of hard to tell. It's never been super energy tingling. I probably need to ground my hands right now.
So it's happening now. Don't blow out your electronics.
Don't touch anything. Don't touch the computer. And that's probably something I've actually thought about doing next is doing some Reiki, because I actually have really strong, I even before the whole Mandela and all this other stuff back in the day, we had these special teachers and whatever would come into our elementary schools and stuff like that and do these different classes. And so this one dance person, she'd always have us we'd have dance and stuff like that, but she's feel the energy, and she showed us how to do energy balls and stuff. And then at the end of our dancing session, she'd always put us in almost yoga meditation, and it was the coolest thing that she would do. And I think she just did it for kids more than anything, because she was doing a lot of workshops with the kids. She would have us all relaxed and calm, and then she was like, and now you're gonna rush through the floor. And I tell you, you rush through the floor, you felt like you're flying. And it was the coolest thing in the world, and we loved it.
Well, I wanted to ask you guys that are watching to kind of relax your eyes, and when she's speaking, just relax your eyes when you're looking at her, and tell me what you guys see after we're done with this live program. Just I want you guys to see what I am seeing. So continue on talking about the session with the energy balls and
am I glowing or something?
As soon as we're done going, when we get off the air, and I'll tell you. I'll tell you. You're fine.
Anyway,
You're absolutely fine.
So we've actually been thinking about, on top of all the other things I do, doing some of the Reiki classes, because it's interesting, and I would, just to add extra healing to people's lives is, it's good,
So is that where your heart's leading you? Is you want to be a healer?
I don't know.
You already got the elements.
I don't know really necessarily. Just think
you could be a weather lady.
Just an extra wheelhouse type of a thing, just like just something to work with the energies a little bit more, and to be maybe the word a little bit more aware of them. I'll get to the point where like my legs will be tingly and stuff like that, or my hands will be like on fire tingles. And I'm sorry, I keep on looking down because you're like on the little side of my screen. I'm like, I noticed I'm like looking down the whole entire time. So I can look at you and you can't even see me.
I'm looking down too. So no, don't worry. I'm looking because I'm looking at you. My camera's up. So if I was to look at the camera, I'm looking.
I know my camera's like, I'm like, look at the green light.
Look at the green light. And say,
anyway, losing my train of thought. I don't know. I just thought about it. I don't know if I'll ever do it. There's a lot of things I say.
And I would suggested that you could already be the weather lady. Okay, so you can do that job, hands down. Get on there and predict the weather for the next day, and then make it happen. And you got a job there. So your next thing that you're working on is, and I'm making a little joke about that, because they have the weather person up there that 7-day forecast, and you can be like, well, I'll tell you what it's going to be, and then I'm going to make it happen.
Well, it's kind of funny because I checked the forecast today because I was like, with the guy with the rain, I was like, okay, I'll give it to you, but tomorrow I am not driving in the rain. And so it was sunny all day long, right? And I actually made a lot of money and everything today. It was like a blessing of a day. And I was just thinking, I was looking at the app. I was like, I wonder what the weather app says. And the weather app shows just cloudy, like in spots of rain throughout the day and stuff. I'm like, oh, I didn't see that today. So
nice. Okay. Yeah. And so the next area that you're working on gaining mastery, and when I call people masters, I'm talking about each of us are everyday masters. So, to get one of the gifts into your remembrance, understand it, like I've said in many of my videos, first we cried, and you start to learn to talk a little bit, and then you start understanding full sentences, and then you can have full conversation. It goes with any of these abilities that are being restored in each and every one of us. Yet we all go through a little learning process and then we activate them in our lives, and and then manifest and go forward. So from what I'm hearing from you, that your next interest is in the Reiki healing energy and developing that very gift that you have within you also. Is there anything else that your heart is wanting you to do? Like, let's not think about punching time clocks and things like that. Yeah. What's your passion in life? What would be like if you could do anything? You didn't have to worry about money or anything. What would you do with your life? What is the passion that drives your heart?
I would probably travel a lot.
Nice.
But I'm assuming I'm not really doing that right now because, of course, I do have a kid. So, running around the world, leaving him behind, that doesn't appeal to me. So I'm assuming that won't come when I'm done with that. I don't know. I mean, I don't really ever think about like, that's half my problem. I'm a Gemini, so it's like, I don't know, I could do this, or I could do that, or I could do this, or it's very hard to not ping pong around. And then like, I think that's half the problem. It's like, how do you choose something when I'm like, oh, I could do this and I could do that.
But if it was put to you in a way that you could choose something now, but you're always able to change your mind. So like if somebody walked up to you and said, I will offer you blah, 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 could do today, and the money would be so good that you wouldn't have to worry about that. And it was, I'm offering you the job of what your passion is right now. What do you think that would be?
I'm not even sure.
Weather lady?
I don't know. I mean, see, it's so hard living in this world when you're kind of like going towards a woke, because it's just so mundane, right? I mean, I was listening to these two ladies in the car today, and they literally have insurance on some kind of banking or whatever they were doing. And they were talking about, all these little things that would do your credit and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, you were flying around the country on some kind of insurance of bank or something, whatever the heck they're doing, going here to there to there. And I was like, what a system we've made up of paper pushing for nothing. So it's like the world hasn't caught up to my brain yet or something, right? If we all lived in Shane's world, that's not the problem. We're all living on our own experience.
Right. But that's part of the beauty also. It's not necessarily a problem. What I'm trying to, I'm trying to pull out of you, and I'm not trying to trip you up or trick you. What I'm trying to find out is, what's your passion right now in your heart? I mean, what, as in it could be a spiritual, it could be a physical, what would it be that would, if the money was right there and it was the ideal thing that was offered to you, that would just really, perk your heart up and, make you want to go to work instead of, dragging in and punching a clock. What would it be? What would be something that glowing would find, that would be in your passion? I'm thinking, the ability to change the weather is such a beautiful ability. But I also know that we have many different abilities.
That's something I think everybody can kind of do if they put their thoughts behind it, and or their belief in it. You can't just, it's one of those things where you, like anything that you tackle, you have to actually have belief in yourself to do it. I mean, think about sports people. Like, they do some amazing, crazy things that I would say, oh, I don't think I could ever do that. But you know what? They put their heart and their passion into it, and they're doing it, right? So, or a great musician or a great whatever, these things, they have a belief in it. They tackle it, and then they do it or whatever. So I'm not, that's my biggest problem. It's like, I don't really ever know what I want to do when I grow up. I've had like different paths that I've led through, but I can't.
Remember, you can change your mind tomorrow. I mean, at any time. I'm just asking at the moment, with all these things at your fingertips, which one is your passion at the moment. So it's not, I'm not trying to trap you into a box or anything glowing. And, I just give your, just go ahead with some stories or some examples of things that you've actually witnessed, from Mandela Effect to spiritual events, which you've given us a couple, which were absolutely beautiful, to the experience with the Rike lady. You have anything else that you would like to, share that has happened to you that's pretty, just amazing and special to you? That, I mean, like personally, like that had an impact on you, that raised your spirits, raised your heart, got you excited.
Oh, yeah. I mean, okay, so, there's a lot of people. You can go two ways with this whole experience. You can go really scared, and I want my world back, and I want, can I get my old world back? Can I get this? And I'm just like, well, you're probably not going to, because we keep on, I think quite a bit of these changes are us doing them. There may be a little help with CERN or something or whatever, but I think quite a bit of it is us. We're waking our own selves up. We're like, oh, look at that, something to grab somebody's attention. Because like you heard Dark Wolf say, it only takes one, that one thing. If one thing is changed, then anything is changeable, right? So if for sure something's changed, like those Berenstain Bears, or it's a line in a movie, or a statue, or a great painting, or whatever, or your favorite brand of Jiffy, whatever you want to do. I don't really pay attention to peanut butter. I could care less. So that whole debate, I don't care.
So, okay. So if you were able to wake people up and you had that variability, maybe just by walking past them, somebody comes up, offers you enough, finances that you don't have to worry about, how you're going to pay for your bills or any of that. And all you had to do was be you, your present energy, and just walk past people. And as you walked past them, that it would raise them up and wake them up gently to an understanding of awareness. Would that be something that, that sounds very humble? It wouldn't be pointing you out in any way, but in the meantime, you would be helping out society in a huge monumental way. What do you think about that?
I don't know. I mean, it's kind of, you'll know when it's time to push because, I work with I've always worked in hotels. So you kind of get a general sense of how to read people. Like if someone comes at the desk very stern and whatever, you're not going to crack a joke. You're just giving them your keys. Here's your room, blah, blah, blah. If someone's kind of laughing and jokey or whatever, you can have a ball with them. Some people you can get a little bit personal with, or they're, have a connection, more of a connection with. Same thing happens in this, driving around people. I find that connection easier to make at times because there's a different service being, they're getting into your car. So there's like a little bit more respect for some reason. And then the conversations you have are more natural, more flowing than something where like, I'm buying my hotel room and you owe me, type of mentality. So I don't necessarily think that you can just walk by the street and get everybody on board. There's little hints that you can leave with people that will, make them think a little bit, and then later on they might be on that path. There's some people you can lay it down with and be like, oh yeah, right. Did you catch this? Yeah, So it's just a matter of who you're in front of, and to judge that from discern it. I'm not going to say judge because you shouldn't be judging anybody. It's not really our job.
So if you were able to walk past somebody, not say anything, and just lift their heart without having to use words or feeling like you're pushing them in any direction, except for trying to lift their heart without saying a word, just by walking past them, just by being behind the desk at the hotel. If somebody walks in a grateful mood and you can just feel your energy.
Right now, like, quite honestly, my more ideal job, like the job that could do something, would be to work in some kind of nonprofit organization that would probably like mostly helping out with children needs. I'm pretty good with kids, obviously. I got that light heart.
But not your own, right?
They're attracted to me.
Not your own.
Attracted to children.
Well, rotten. You see
that sounds bad.
You're
not in a pizza gateway, guys. Not in a pizza gateway.
No.
At all. Oh God, that sounded bad. I gotta remember what we're on here.
We're talking about energy and how we can impact each other, and sometimes people aren't ready to hear things, and so if you're in a good mood and you're holding your energy, which obviously you are learning this ability by being able to affect the environment around you. It all starts with getting our own house in order, and then other things reflect out around you. So somebody in a bad mood could come up to the counter, get their keys from you, but by the time they get to their room from just being in your presence, can go to their room and feel relief. And you don't even know that you're doing that. I'm just trying to, have you think a little bit outside of the box. I'm an outside of the box type thinker. Stretch the imagination and broaden the horizons.
That's kind of why I didn't really like the word master, because I feel like, a lot of people say they're masters or gurus or whatever, shaman or whatever. Like, it's the second you kind of label yourself, then you just put yourself in a box, and you're not really saying that, you may not think you need to learn more, and every day is you need to learn more. You need to
it's
realize that you don't know everything.
It's everyday masters. You got to master every day. It's a term when I said mastery of the elements. And anytime I use that term, guys, realize I do reference Case because I think he's absolutely amazing. But the everyday master is his channel name. So, but everybody is an everyday master to get through the day. We're mastering our way through it. So we need to be leaders of our own selves rather than followers of other people. So when I call somebody a master of something, I'm talking about that I've observed and tested an ability that they've proclaimed, and from what their testimony is, that I'm convinced that they've gained mastery on that. But that doesn't mean that there's other things that they are not still working on, because we're always, it's an infinite. It doesn't end. You still can expand and grow every single day. And that's why mastery, if you hear me call somebody, they've got a mastery in something, it means that I'm highlighting that they have actually done something. I tested it myself, and therefore that's what that means. But it is a term that is for everybody, and it is an everyday master that everybody is. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, because I don't want you to feel uncomfortable or thinking that I'm trying to set up any kind of a following.
Yeah,
because I'm not. It's about freedom, and it's about everybody walking in their sovereignty and realizing the divine within each and every one of us.
Yes, I don't want to, like I said, everybody has these tools in their belt. They just need to figure out how to access them,
What is your method for accessing? Do you mind sharing that?
Well, I think we all have like something that's a little bit special or more unique. I mean, it's not like feel like mean, they should all be there, but I don't like have second sight. I can't like look into the darkness or look into the corner and see a spirit or whatever. That's just not there. But if something nasty walk up, I'm going to smell it, right? I have that smell thing. I've got that sixth sense smell. It's a very unusual one. I've only met a few people that can actually do it, where it's like if someone smells, it's a chemical smell, it's a bad smell. I don't know if it's a sick or just a negative presence in that person at that time. I don't know what it is necessarily. I'm sure to walk into somebody at Walmart with that smell. I had one person in my car that smelled like that. And that was pretty hard because you're in a trapped car and that chemical smell. And then it's not even a smell that like regular everybody can smell. I call it a smell because it's coming through this area, probably like up into here. To the point where like I can smell someone's perfume, and that's different. Like there's the perfume, here's their chemical smell, and I can smell the two differences.
Yeah. Don't cover
so
it. No, it doesn't work out that way.
It's not, because it's not really like a smell. I call it a smell because it's in this area. It's affecting this area, but it affects my whole body. And if I'm near the bad smell too much, then it can give me like a migraine, really bad, to the point like I'm in bed and just done. But now I've also gone to the point, and that happened in 2012. That started in 2012, and people say, "Oh, you're pregnant?" I'm like, "Yeah, for 5 years, 6 years, whatever." Like, okay, whatever. So it's something that happened first, and then in the last year since I had the Mandela thing, I have smelled I would call it nature spirits, because I would say thank you for the wind or whatever, because it gets hot down here, and I would say, can you come and bring some wind, some nice just little wind to, take me along my walk or something when it's like 100 degrees, right? And it'll breeze and blow and whatever. And I'll get like a sweet smell, like a flowery smell. And it was funny because I was walking with this little boy. He's about 1.5 at the time, and he's while I'm smelling what I would say probably a nature spirit or something, um, he's saying hi, hello, just the two
Hello.
of us.
A question in the chat for you.
Oh.
Would you like to participate in a concentrated manifestation?
Oh, we can certainly try. What are we manifesting?
He'll have to when we drop.
Yeah, we'll need the details later on. Yeah. I don't mind as long as I can put my heart into it, because you're only going to be as strong as your weakest link in a group manifestation. So if you have somebody who's doubting one bit, it's not going to work as strongly as if you make sure everybody is full on. So you got to make sure everybody, whoever is in this group, is going to be like full heart in. But I'm more than willing to if it's something I can put my heart into and focus on.
Captain Lee said,
some people can do more head focus. I have to be more heart focused.
Captain Lee said, one can bring any amount of light in a dark room and dark flees. One cannot bring any amount of darkness in a lit room.
That's true.
That's
very true.
Right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, the other day when I was having that, like, going into meditation dream, I mean, to know your eyes are closed, know everything's closed off, right? And to have a brighter light than your lamp, I mean, just, I don't even know how to explain it. It was too bright almost. It was like if I could put sunglasses on it, it was stronger than the sun. That's how bright it was. And it just was like, it was pretty insane. That's the other thing. I kind of got lost with that manifestation thing.
That's okay. That's okay. He was.
What were we talking about?
We were just you were just talking about, you know, the sense of heightened sense of smell, and you can tell if somebody, and then you started talking. You started touching on, before I asked you the question in the chat, about fairies or wood fairies, and then that's when I stopped you and started asking you the questions. So yeah, you can continue there. You wouldn't mind.
And then I would say the other really good smell I had was one time was okay, so I kept on saying, like, it was funny. I didn't even know what it was. I was driving to work. It was early in the morning. I don't even know. I was talking to some people on Discord. Someone was saying something so beautiful that I was kind of like already in a heightened sense of awareness anyways. And then I was like, you know, like, I kept saying, I want to manifest a parking spot that's close to the front of the office building. I don't want to have to walk, you know, far away. I'm like, I work here. I shouldn't have to. There should be like reserved spots for us, right? You know, but there's not. So I was like, oh, this would be really good. I want to manifest this close spot to the building. And so I'm like, I'm going to do this because I'm tired of like walking too far, or putting my car away in the back or whatever. And so, like, I was coming around the corner. I was like, oh, my God, there's a spot up there. I was like, oh, did I do it? Do you think I did it? Do you think it was me? And I'm telling you, an angel was in my car, and I instantly cried. Like, the smell was kind of florally, but it was different than, like, the other spirit things. So I'm pretty sure that was what was going on in that moment, was that I could actually... I got presence of an angel next to me. And that was pretty cool. I mean, there's these weird little things that happen all the time that I always say, nothing happens to me, but they do. Like about a year ago, I was walking out the front door, and I have to say the number on the door says 616. My birthday's 6/16. A lot of those things renumerate each other, like a lot of 616 type of thing around my birthday, or, you know, the number thing. So it happens to be just one of my unique numbers. And so I'm walking out the door to go to work, and I feel like a draft behind my head. Some people have heard this. I feel like this draft behind my head. And so, you know, like when you walk out from a cold apartment, you know, like air conditioned apartment or whatever, walk outside, it's all hot and humid, and you feel that like a draft. So it felt like the door was open. And I was like, oh, God, So I'm like turning back around, I had to lock the door anyway, so it's not like I didn't have to turn, but I turned and I am looking at an open black space. And I'm like, it's weird because this didn't last very long. So imagine I've heard this before. I'm like, why did I go through? Damn it, why didn't I go through? I'm thinking in the back of my head, I think I'm standing here in front of an open door, and my son he's like passed out on the couch. He may be like looking at me like, what's mom doing on the other side of the door, just standing there like, And then I'm also thinking, I'm gonna be late for work. I don't have time for this. Like that would matter in another dimension. And so I'm like, I get this. I literally have to shake my head, to get it out of the way. And when the black space moved away, the door is completely shut. So where obviously the cold draft was coming from, whatever was on the other side of that portal. I was like, oh my God, like, what are you doing? Don't go through it. Like, I could have had an adventure today. No, I'm like, gotta go to work, miss responsibility.
Okay, I have a question for you from the chat from Captain Lee. Does glowing have any remote viewing or even lucid dreams? If so, please share if you would feel comfortable. Well,
I don't know how to do remote viewing. That should be on somebody's manual to someday teach me how to do. We just haven't really got to that.
I think it's called Farsight Institute. You can watch them, and you probably will see that you probably in your dream state or meditative state have remote viewed. Just didn't realize you were doing it. I will fill you in on that after we're done with the broadcast. We got about 3 minutes left, but do you have any lucid dream or anything to share with Captain? That was a really good question.
Well, lucid dreaming, that means you can control the dream, right? I've
Not
never
necessarily. It means it's just very vivid and real.
Oh, okay. Well, yes. I guess the most recent one that was kind of like a breakthrough type of a thing, because a lot of times I think I go places. I don't always remember my things, but I go places. Like one day I woke up and I was like, did I take a shower last night? Because my hair, I have very thick hair. It'll stay damp, during the night, and it'll be a little or wet, and it'll be damp in the next morning. And I was like, did I take a shower last night? Because my whole hair is wet. And I was like, nah, I didn't take a shower because I know I set my alarm early so I could take a shower this morning. And my hair was damp from the top of my head all the way to the bottom. So the only thing I figured is I went to a water world and I brought some of it back with me. I don't know what I did there, but obviously I had fun. I don't know. I came back.
I remember you telling me about that. I told you I had a similar dream where I felt like they were washing my hair and I smelled like rose. It felt like oils or something, but I must have dreamt through and had my hair dry. Hey guys, the moderators, can you please drop the link to the chat forum for me? We're about to sew it up here. I'm going to let Glowing go ahead and finish up talking about that amazing dream, and we'll zip this up. It's been an honor having you, but please continue to tell about that. Is an amazing dream that she had the dream.
That the lucid means you do have total control. That's why I thought the lucid meant like you were kind of in control. Okay, there is one part of lucid that I had, and I guess it was kind of a breakthrough because I was having a moment of like, I don't know, for 2-3 weeks or something, every day, 4:30 I woke up. Didn't really know why or anything. And then one day I turned my head to the side, and there was like this like elfish looking, demon looking thing with these little chattering teeth going, and I turned to it, and I like, this is my dream. I turned to it and I said, you are annoying me. You are not allowed to be here anymore. You're not blocking me anymore. So obviously there's something being blocked. And after that, I went into more of like a prophetic type of a dream where I was experiencing a lot of mammals in the ocean being like slaughtered and crying for help, and not anybody listening or hearing them. So I probably need to get onto that a little bit more and do something with that, but I don't know quite what.
Just to make it clear, I guess I say something in the chat about splitting hairs. If if you're having dreams where you're having sensations and you're feeling and you are remembering it and it is vivid, that would be lucid dreaming. Now, if you're just having regular pizza dreams or remote viewing, that may look different. But if you're having sense of touch and sensation in there, you may not, you can't discern whether you're asleep or awake, usually when you're in that state. But you do have senses. And since you felt somebody washing your hair and you woke up and your hair was wet, I would call that lucid dreaming. You guys, Glowing has been absolutely wonderful tonight. She has shared her story with us. She's opened her heart. Thank you very much, Glowing, for coming on. I hope that Marlena does come back into our community. We miss her. Would love to see her. So glad that you came on. And, I'm so sorry, guys, about the technical difficulties that we had. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Come into the flame. She's in there. She would love to talk to you. She's busy. She's got a family. She's got things going on. She's got a job, obviously. She's got some amazing things going on in her life. And freely we receive, freely we give. Please like, share, and subscribe. Peace. I'll talk to you soon.